Start stream. Okay, first up, crud. If you have not yet poked that link and sent me your results, that's going to be really annoying if I spitefully put in a single grade this weekend and it comes up as a 0 just to freak you out and have your parents get on your case. Please do that, okay? It's not just for shiggles. The reason I want you doing that is because it confirms that you are on Remind, you are receiving messages on Remind, you are able to access links I send on Remind, you are also able to return, send me an image in Remind. Now, why would I want you to do all that? You remember what we talked about with Remind on Wednesday? Why is that going to be so important for you? Well, yeah, I send out a lot of stuff, but why is it important for you? That is a tutor in a pocket. I'm not joking. 9:30 at night on Sunday, you finally decide you're going to do your work. Let's be honest, right? Or not even that, right? 10. Oh, by then I'm unconscious. Sorry. I'll answer you at 5:30. Okay. 9:30 at night on Sunday, you decide to do your homework. You're stuck on number 22. Snap a picture of 22, send it to me, say, how do I do this? I scribble on it, I send it right back to you. Tutor in a pocket. If I am conscious, so not at 10:30, if I am not being attacked by 2 ankle-biting goblins, and I'm not teaching a class, I'm going to answer. Okay? You have a tutor in a pocket. You have no reason to do the problem. Well, I didn't actually do the problem because I looked at it and said words, and then I walked away because it scared me. Yep. Okay. A, the solutions for everything you're going to do in class are posted on our Google Drive. All of it. Now, someone in here, I would bet several someones, given the amount of our freshman population, several someones are going to figure out that not doing the work at all, not doing any practice, or just copying the solutions down to make it look like you did the practice results in a real awkward conversation with your parents in about 4.5 weeks. Because right before parent-teacher conferences, we hit the midterm, we send out the report card. The report card shows that you got 80, 90, 100% on your homework completion only. It looks like you got 80, 90, 100% on your daily quizzes. You'll do that next time you come in on Tuesday. But then, for some reason, your quizzes, your tests, those are sitting down in like the 60s. What's going on? And then I explained to them everything that we talked about on Wednesday. Okay? So don't use the solutions that way, but y'all, we're going to go through some stuff. You're going to get an assignment. It is not going to be long. I do not have it on Plan Book yet because I'm a procrastinator and I forgot. I'll put it on after school. If you're not holding up your end, this ain't going to go so hot. There's a lot of freshmen every year who end up on the F list. Like, freshmen are notoriously the ones who fail the most classes at high school. And it's not because they can't do it, it's because it's never been real before. How many of you, maybe, you know you should not have gone past that class? You didn't do diddly for that class. Okay? And you think to yourself, well, I left 8th grade math and I pretty much didn't do anything. I failed miserably. I am now in high school math. Unless you massive change what you're doing in terms of your behavior, your attitude, your actions, It's not real until that first F shows up on your transcript at the end of first semester. You're not allowed to go into second semester. You have to retake the class next year with next year's freshman class. Then it's real. I don't want that to happen to any of you. So I'm trying to put this out ahead of time. Let's stay ahead of it. Let's do it for real. Let's be honest with ourselves. Because I don't want this to be yet another freshman class where a third of you are failing at the first quarter. It's pretty common for algebra half. I don't want it to be that way. I want no fails, the whole class seeing better. And I think that's very easy to do if you just show up. It's not that kids can't do it, it's kids literally just aren't doing it. Don't do that. Bad. So.
First of all, we can see that already, like, happening in class, but I'm gonna ask. I forgot what I was gonna ask, sorry. I'll bring it up later.
Words are hard, right? Okay, so everyone's got a packet in front of them. Everything that we do in class, right in front of you. If I need extra examples, they're already thrown in there. Should be. If there's a little something you need to write in the margin, cool. Otherwise, this is taken directly out of your book, and then I throw a little extra, sprinkle a little extra stuff on there. I do some, you do some. I do some, you do some. Back and forth, back and forth. I want to give you as many examples as possible so that when it comes time for the homework, you aren't staring at your buddy going, dude, you know what's going on? I don't know what's going on. You know what's going on? Okay? I want to do all the examples here so that I can make your assignment really, really tiny. Like 15 minutes. Itty bitty living space. Okay? So, let's start it off. I have no idea how long this is going to take. Said it's been 7-8 years since I've had a freshman class. I have no idea how long this is going to take us. We might be done with section 1 and you still have a half hour to get your assignment done. Cool. We might go all the way to the buzzer. Oh well. The assignment's going to be small enough. So, for some of you, the first couple units are going to be, let's just be honest with you, boring as hell. Because you know this. In fact, pretty much everything we're going to do is some form of review or expansion. But for someone in the room, this is alien language. So we're going to go through it at that middle speed. We got to review stuff. Starting all the way at the dawn of time, Satan said, "Let there be letters with numbers." Algebraic expressions. A variable is just a placeholder. I can use anything in place of that variable. Now, here it's specifically telling me what number to use, or what variable to use. I don't have to use that when I get to decide. 32 more than a number n. I hear the word more in there. What am I doing? Okay, so I know I'm going to add things. The question is, what order do I do this in? Is this supposed to be 32 plus n, or is this supposed to be n plus 32? And there is a correct answer. There's one word up there that matters. I would like you to underline then. And off to the side, I want you to write the words. Then means put at end. Okay? Case in point. Who's the run to the pack? Who's our shortest of the short? Okay? Was Killian.
Yep.
Okay? Who's the tallest of the tall? Who sprouted way too young? Okay? Huh? No? No? All right.
Maybe Don. Oh, yeah, Riley too. Riley, are you tall?
Okay. Now, probably Just ballpark like a solid 8 inches taller, right? Now, if I say Rylan is 8 inches taller than Killian, am I taking Rylan's height and adding 8, or am I taking Killian's height and adding 8? Right? You added the 8 on top of her. I actually saw a kid walking around the halls the other day in my Spartan time. She had like 11-inch heels. Looked like she was walking around on stilts. Those things were huge. Okay? You don't tack the 8 onto his height, you tack it onto her height. So that word then means to put on the end. Taller than Killian. Add it on top of Killian. Okay, so this is going to keep coming back to us. Make sure you have that written down somewhere. 58 less a number, n. You notice that it doesn't have the word then in there. What does less mean? I'm going to subtract, right? But it doesn't have less than. So what's the order? Is it 58 minus n, or is it n minus 58? 58 minus n. 58 less n. Now, if it said less than a number, it tells me to put it at the end. Then it would be n minus 58. Then says put it at the end. Without a then, it just reads exactly as it's written. Then is a huge keyword. In fact, in some of your classes, I don't remember if you do it in freshman English or maybe in sophomore English. Have you ever done some form of diagramming sentences? Like underline the subject once, the predicate twice? Subject, verb, put the line in between them, anything like that? Okay, the arrow that says this adverb describes this verb. Anything like that? Okay, maybe he. You can do that with math. There is a direct algorithm that translates English into math and math into English. That face right there says you hate that. Just gave that like, damn. That was great. I would like you to do the same thing. I do some, you do some. And whenever I do a thing and then you do a thing, I don't want it quiet in here. This isn't a library. When it's time for you to do one, I want you talking to your neighbors. I want you arguing about this to make sure that you did it right. I want you comparing notes.
That is correct.
I want a fist fight breaking out in the back of the room because someone missed a negative. Okay?
In algebra, you
Where do you get a ball? Yeah, why am I supposed to All right.
All right. Stay on the bench. Okay. I'm betting everyone has addition in there. I hear more, so I know I'm probably going to be adding. But what's the order? Because more than says toss that at the end. Okay?
That line right there is the one that helps me get it.
More than says I got to put it at the end. Now, you all did, I think we go through properties smooth. I think we're going to go through properties, next week. But do you all remember something called a commutative property?
I remember it.
Heard it. I don't know what it is.
We learned it too.
Yeah, you did. It says the order that I do things in doesn't matter. but it specifically only works for addition and multiplication. N plus 18 is still 18 plus n. So technically they're going to give you the same value, but there is a correct and incorrect way to write it, because not everything has those properties. We'll do that more next week. Okay, shoot. Multiplication, division. Oh, hey, look, we're going to do the exact same thing, except now we're doing a different operation. 8 times a number n. I don't think it gets any simpler than that. But there's different ways to write it. Do you remember all the different ways you write these? Okay. In the dawn of time, you started doing this. Why do we not want to do that now?
Because we have X's.
We got variables now. So we probably don't want that. We could do 8 times n like this. If I ever have a number just smashed up on a variable, that means multiplication. One more.
Can't you also put them both in their own parentheses?
I can either put them both or just the second one. 8n or 8n. All 4 of those are correct. They are, all 4 of them. Which one of them would you consider to be the simplest one? This literally has the least amount of ink to it, right? Well, sometimes simpler doesn't mean much simpler. Okay? They're all correct. They are all correct. What you're going to see an awful lot in here that you probably saw last year was 8n just smashed together. The way that I remembered it, the way that my old time travel back to like 1997 here, the way that my teacher first said it was anytime you got a number smashed up on something else, just like rabbits and hormonal teenagers, they're going to multiply. Just saying. Ha 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 ha. I chaperone the homecoming dance. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. Actually, I stand out like in the commons by the pop machine because I ain't going in that meat market over there. I don't know what. So, the quotient of a number n and 5. Quotient. What do you think?
Division.
It is division. Okay? But here's the thing. Is it n divided by 5? Is it 5 divided by n? Is it n over 5? Is it 5 over n? Which one? I have a person says third one.
I think it's the first one.
Come on, I mean, worst case scenario, you're wrong. Like, what do you actually think it is?
I think first the third. I have the third down. I would trust the first two.
Both of those are correct. Okay? So here's how this works, and I want you to write right next to it. If I ever see the sum difference product quotient of thing and thing. Okay, any of those. The sum of blank and blank. The difference of blank and blank. The quotient of n and 5. It tells you the order they go in. They literally occur in the order that it was written. So when I hear the quotient of, To me, I'm immediately putting a division or sign or a fraction bar. I'm looking for the word and to tell me what the two things are. Do you see kind of the diagram to it? The quotient of, I'm going to divide things. And tells me the two things. The two things go in exactly the order that I'm supposed to. Okay? The same thing goes if I hear the difference of 18 and a number. 18 minus n. The difference of. Okay, I'm going to subtract things. 18 and a number. 18 goes before the number. Literally in the order that it's said in the problem. Okay? This is kind of a big one. That's going to keep coming back to us. We're going to be all the way in chapter 6, dealing with, you're going to have to make your own linear equations for systems. And you have to translate a paragraph into 2 or 3 equations. Now that's a long way out of here. That's like in the spring. This is still going to come back then. So please have that written. It tells you the order that you're supposed to do it in. I had to review that with my Algebra 2 just this morning. Okay, go ahead, get them. Okay, ping and pong, you missed a whole slide. You probably want to get on top of it.
Okay.
I will treat you like an adult until you show me I can't. That includes seating. Argue it out with your neighbors, talk it over. Okay, the same test. Daily quizzes, test, yeah, be quiet. In-class stuff like this, no, I want you talking to your neighbors about math. All three. Do all three of them. A and B are just about, can I do the mechanics of it? C, you got to be able to answer a question. The who, what?
The law that you said earlier about doesn't matter which way they go. And
Commutative. We reviewed that just last hour with my Algebra 1. And this stuff doesn't go away. Just keep coming back for more. Part A, which one's right? All of the above. Trick question. Which one's probably the simplest? Just 6n. Okay. The reason we kind of want to get away from the 6.n, reasons, twofold. Number one, which one of those was 6 minus n? Which one was 6 times n? Which you have handwriting that is such trash, you need the Rosetta Stone to translate it. Okay? So that's one reason we want to get rid of the dot. The other one, it might take a while, but you come up into Algebra 2, and we start talking about the function of x and the function of x, g and f. I can multiply them. I can also compose them. You see where a little open circle, kind of like a degree sign, might start to look like a big dot? Okay, so there's reasons. It's not just because someone said math and now it works. Like, there's reasons. Okay. All right. The quotient of 18 and a number. I see the quotient of, I see the and. So quotient is, we said, divide. What order? 18 divided by n. Yeah. Okay, do the phrases 16 less a number, y, and 16 less than a number, y, mean the same thing. They change the order, right? This one is 6 minus y. This one is y minus 6. Because then puts it at the end. They're little things, but they're important things. Okay. Little things are important things. You have entered the teenage years. The teenage years means the little things are about to become big things. Why'd you say it like that? Why haven't you liked any of my posts in like 3 months? We're not even friends anymore. Screw you. Okay? Little things are about to become big things. Actually, in middle school is probably that. This is just, it's going to be the same thing, but a little more explicit. Okay. Writing expressions with two operations. We have to diagram the sentence. We got to be careful about how we write it. 3 more than twice a number x. I hear 3 more than. What am I going to do with the 3? With what operation? Addition. I will add it at the end. Onto something. That something is twice. What does twice mean? 2 times, right? So I'm about to take 2 times a thing. I will get rid of that dot later. A number x. 2 times the x. 3 more than, at the end, twice a number, 2x plus 3. Okay. You can literally diagram these. 9 less than, where's it going? At the end, because I hear the word then. We're going to take 9 less than, I'm going to put a minus 9 at the end of a thing. The quotient of. I just saw the quotient of. I look for the and. The and separates the things that are going to be divided. 6 over x. Okay? You see how there's like a code to it? Yep. You sound like the seagulls from Nemo. Yep. The product of, this one is super tricky. The product of, and as soon as I run into and, okay, what does product mean? I heard it. Multiply. Ooh, okay. Side quest. Write this. Some difference product quotient are those operations. If we don't remember that, we better write it down. Man, good thing all of your stuff is open notes in here, huh? Okay. Oh, hey, remember how this isn't exactly 100% what this example is about? Maybe I put it in a box over here with a big, like, GTA style, put a little exclamation over its head. I need to remember this. Side quest. Okay, who here's the completionist? Like, you don't even do the main campaign of the game. You do all the little side quests first. So you can just be the, like, level 98, and then I'm going to come into the introductory level and just wreck face. Anyone? No? Okay. I'm going to get all the packages right now, so I have all the money, so I can buy the cool guns, so I can... No. Okay. The product of, I'm going to multiply two things. Thing one, thing two. I see the word and immediately separates two of the things. The things are 4 times, the sum of. So thing number 2 is its own expression. But do you see how the and keyed us into that? The product of 4 and, okay, so 4 times, and then I saw the words the sum of. Oh, the sum of means I'm going to add two things. What are those two things? X and 7. X plus 7. Now, how do I make sure that this is multiplying this whole thing and not just the X? Those things. The butt cheeks, parentheses. Those. It's 4 times the entire sum of X and 7. Do you see how if I didn't have that, if I just left 4 dot X plus 7, y'all remember the order of operations? Okay. Let's what are they? Okay, I heard PEM DOS. Or, as one kid said in my room, and I will forever use instead of that, please execute my deranged adolescent sister. Dang. Wasn't that funny? Like, he just really didn't like his sister. The order of operations tells me if I'm going to do this, I would do 4x, 4 times x first, then add. Whereas good old distribution, those are not the same expression, right? So when I say the product of 4 and the sum of. I need to throw parentheses around that to ensure that it stays a sum. That is tricky. That is tricky. I could put this line right here. I could put letter C. I could put that in front of my Algebra 2 kids, and I'd bet a third of the class screwed it up. I could put that in front of my pre-calc kids, and I guarantee there's 1 or 2 in that room that are still going to screw it up. Okay? And they are literally 4 years ahead of you in terms of their math. That is tough. That's why we're going through this nice and slow, and we're writing all these extra things down so that you don't make those goofs later. Get them. I do some, you do some. And again, talk it out with your neighbors. Okay, we're just translating. Turn English into mathese. Ooh, go away. Yo. Oh no, not B. All right, twice. 2 times something, right? So just start with 2 and a parenthesis.
Don't know if I was right.
Okay, so 2 twice means 2 times. The sum of. What am I about to do? Okay, so throw a parenthesis right here and a parenthesis over here to say 2 times these things added.
So right here?
Yep, right there and right here with the 2. Where am I? Oh no. Okay, I'm going to pen on yours because I left my pencil up there. Like this. You're going to have 2 things. Twice the sum of things.
X and 8.
X and 8. See, you got a 2 hugged up on x plus 8.
Alright, thank you.
There you go.
Is this only 1 unit?
Oh. Let me see. There we go. 4 blank 5. Yeah, we'll just do 1 today. Nothing too rigorous. Just a little taste to get started. It's typical that we'll probably do like 1 section a day. Sometimes a section requires a little more oomph to it, so we'll do 2 days. Sometimes it's super easy and we'll cram 2 in a day. Kind of depends. Sounds like most of us are either there or arguing about the last one. 8 less than. I hear 8 less than. At the end. So minus 8 after a thing. The product of. I will multiply, here's my and, these 2 things. So I will multiply these 2 things, an x and a 4. Now I probably don't want to leave it like that. How could I rewrite this to be a little more modern? 4x. Okay. So this is 4x minus 8. 8 less than the product of 4 and x. Twice, ooh, just right there, the first word, twice. I will take 2 times a thing. So twice, and then, you seeing that thing keep popping up? The sum of, the difference of, the product of? The sum of a number and 8. Here's my and. What am I doing with those two? The sum of? I will multiply the sum. The sum is adding. X plus 8. Twice that sum. I need to have parentheses to keep it together as a sum. Okay. More words. Lots more words. The quotient of. What do I start with? I'm going to divide things. Thing over thing. The quotient of thing over thing. Here's my and. So I already know the quotient of 5 and stuff. The 5 has to go up top. The quotient of 5 and, numerator and denominator. The sum of, okay, so they're doing that nesting doll thing again. Y'all seen like original Toy Story? You know, the big bulldog that opens his mouth and the little bulldog comes out, opens his mouth and a little bulldog comes out, right? That's what they're doing here. They're putting a set of parentheses inside a set of parentheses. Now, because we're using the big honkin' fraction bar, we won't need the brackets, but I'll show you that you can write it both ways, and they're both correct. Okay? The sum of you see how this parenthesis here never really finished because this one got in the way? That means, you see how it's one within the other? The quotient of, I'm going to divide stuff, a 5 and this whole thing, 12 plus x. Now that's one way to write it. The other would have been to take 5, where's blue? Divided by 12 plus x, like that. On the one on the right, yes. Because you're saying the sum of 12 and x is part of that quotient. Because otherwise, if I don't have that, remember, please execute my deranged adolescent sister. In the top one, purple, blue, red, what do you do first? In the bottom one, the yellow, what do you do first? You do the dividing first, right? Because that comes before addition. It completely changes the value of it, whether you have parentheses or not. Pause. Stand up. Y'all, it's the end of the day. Come on. Shake it out, stretch around a little bit. Come on. Just get up, crack the neck, or if you're like me, the back, the knees. Okay, like just shake it off. Come on, get up. Okay. I don't know you all. You haven't been in the building yet. You. Name, rank, and serial number. What's your name? Hey, Sailor. If you could step in the ring, celebrity deathmatch style, with any famous person, who would you fight?
Harry Styles.
Okay. All right, fair, fair. Toss it to someone else. Boo. Okay. You have the ability to Thanos snap one movie, TV, or book franchise, yeet it out of existence. It does not exist anymore. It never happened. Grey's Anatomy. Okay. Is that still going?
Yeah, it's on season 17. My mom's obsessed with it.
That's disgusting. Okay. All right. One more. Let's do. Okay. You're a thief. You can steal things. However, you can only steal things that mildly inconvenience a person. Case in point, I would go to the teacher's lounge and I would steal the plate out of the microwave. What are you going to steal?
Steal like all people's blankets. Like I just steal the blankets.
Just the blankets. Everyone's stuck just with the sheet and.
Yeah, you would have like
That's,
One cold lady.
yeah, like you would have like
and this is where we say that's cold.
like at all of your house you wouldn't have like.
Okay. All right, get down. Okay. It's the end of the day, y'all. End of the day on a Friday. It's we got this. Okay. Next up. Now we're gonna flip the script. We're gonna go backwards. Before it was here's words, turn it into math. Now it's here's math, turn it into words. What word phrase can you use to represent 3x? Well, what operation are they using? They're multiplying. How do I say multiply? I can literally say times or multiply, right? So this is one of those, okay, when I say that the solutions are online, don't just copy them. What I also mean is if you're gonna cheat, don't cheat stupid. Now here's what I mean. I would see a problem like this, and on a kid's paper, number 32. What does that mean?
The answer that you get from your students will vary.
The answer from the students will vary because there are multiple correct answers. They put that on their paper. If you're gonna cheat, don't cheat stupid. Okay? Because there are multiple correct answers. Could I say 3 times x? Could I say 3 multiplied with x? Okay, what's another one? Product of. We just went through that whole series. The product of, remember how this worked? It was the product of, the sum of, the quotient of blank and blank. 3 and x. Is it 3 and x or is it x and 3?
Must be 3 and x.
It has to be 3 and x because that's the order it was written. Nope. Don't have to. Okay? So all of those are right. Does anyone know of another one? Those are the easiest ones. I can think of one more. It was a really, really bad movie with Vin Diesel. Triple X.
I watched that movie.
It was like from 2001 or something. It was him trying to be the badass version of James Bond. He was like a former extreme sport YouTube guy, and they recruited him into the CIA or something dumb. It was bad. It was really bad, but I liked it. Okay. But triple X, if you want to get all like British with your pinky in the air, thrice X.
Feels like you're trying to say 2020.
So, can you take everything that we just did? You know what? 4 is a little much. Kane, no. Cohen. Hey, cool, I win. Make me do one. Which one do I have to do? D. Okay. All right. I see 2 different things happening there. I see multiplication and subtraction. Where is the subtraction? At the end. At the end. What can I do to put something at the end? Then. 1 less than. Okay, that's going to take care of this. Now, the product of 5 and x. Okay, that just bothers me. Okay, which you's guilty? Who's the one that writes the sentence down the edge because you ran out of room? Oh,
Put the
those.
letters vertical or sideways, though? That's the real question.
No, you keep the train going so you can at least rotate the paper as you're reading it. Okay.
Like one
Okay.
letter per line.
There's got to be a different way to do it besides just that. What else? What if I just started here? How would I then take away 1 from that?
Is 1 less? When you say the product of 5 and x is 1 less, I don't know.
Minus 1, less 1. Take away 1. But then we start getting into some pretty strange territory. Here's what I mean. If I say the product of 5 and x minus 1. Okay, now here's what I mean. This is called non-verbal language. The product of 5 and x minus 1. 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 Putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, right? So here's what I mean. If I say the product of 5 and x minus 1. Right now, as this thing is written, the product of, I see my and, I don't see anything breaking this up, right? There's nothing breaking this up. So this would be 5 times x minus 1, which is not what I have up there. However, if I have a single comma right there, now that changes it. Because the comma acts as the break. That's where the parenthesis goes. Now, okay, I hit a comma. So that means that's the end of the two things that I'm multiplying. This is an incredibly difficult thing. I spend probably 3 days going over comma usage in math with my inclusion algebra class because they struggle a lot with reading and math. That's why 1 less than the product of is the easiest way to go because it forces that -1 to be at the end. And that is some extra tough stuff. Thank you for choosing D. I was going to override you anyway and do D. Those 3, please.
For A.
Go!
Your diploma course?
I double majored. I have a bachelor's in K-12 special education and 612 mathematics. Because of the amount of classes that you have to take for the special ed certification, I am 2 to 4 classes in each category from also teaching English, history, science, and PE. So if I went back full time for a year, I could just open my own school. Except foreign language. Like, I know Yokiro Taco Bell, and that's because a little chihuahua told me. Like, that's it. That's all I know. That's the only Spanish I know. It's pretty bad. And profanity that I learned while working with some of the guys at the bean plant in North Dakota. Okay. I would just say the sum of x and 8.1. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You gotta hurry up. I could also just say x plus 8.1. X increased by 8.1. 8.1 more than x. Any of those work? Anyone have something different?
I do have something. I had 8 more than, or 8.1 more than X.
More than. Yep. C. I'll go straight to C. That's easier. I'm going to say the quotient of. Is it n and 3 or 3 and n? Because sometimes I say it wrong. So is like D. It's a little bit tougher. So I don't have to worry about that comma stuff. I should probably start it with 9 more than. Because otherwise I'm going to have to have some sort of comma in there to break off the x from the plus 9. Okay, 9 more than the product of 10 and x. Those are probably what you would see on a solution key. Okay. All right. For anyone who's watching the video, the audio is about to get trash. I forgot to plug my little microphone thing on. I forgot to plug it in at lunch, so it just died on me. That's why I'm up here, like, kind of half cussing to myself, is because I can hear the little lady in the speaker going, "Battery low, battery low, battery low." Like, shut up, Skynet, I know. So now it's just using the microphone off my laptop, so the audio is going to get kind of trash. Sorry, people who are gone. All right. This page, I forgot to put my little icon in the corner. What I'm usually going to have, there's going to be two little, like, up and down thumbs. In my experience, if I ask the class, are we doing okay or do we have any questions? No one answers, right? No one's going to answer that. But if I instead, I'm also a visual person. If I say, we get to this, we've done a bunch of stuff, and I say, all right, show me thumbs, how we feeling? I'm good. I got this. Like, I'm ready to move on. Let's go. I'm a little fuzzy. Like, I mostly get it, but I should probably do number net because whichever one. I should do number because I need a little more practice. Versus, dude, I have no freaking clue what's going on. Okay? So, show me thumbs. How are we feeling about the stuff we've done so far? Okay? Words and math are tough. Let me guess. A and C, not a big deal. Or not as big a deal. B and D, that was ugly. Problem. Okay? What about back here? Was it C that was the problem? Were we okay with A and B? Most of the time what I'll see is one operation, we're okay. Two operations, it starts getting sketchy. Three, screw it, I'm done. That's what most kids do. So let's take just a wee bit of time. Let's start down here. That 1 through 12, I want you to just argue. Let's take like a solid 5-7 minutes. Work them through, talk to your neighbors. Ask me, I'm coming around the room. I want us to work on that 1, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Because I just screenshot, snapped these out of old curriculum. I just went and found the type of problem. Okay. What? Squared is times itself.
Thank you.
If you're just sitting staring at your paper, it ain't gonna fill itself out. Ask your neighbor. Your neighbor doesn't know or you don't like your neighbor. I'm coming around. Ask me. So.
Okay, whenever I hear fractions of, like if I say, I will give you a third that I would in another class. What am I taking? What am I doing? Splitting it up, it's getting smaller, right? Because I'm multiplying it by a third. So whenever I hear and I say, a third of, fourth of, 3/4 of, it means this times the square. What does it mean when I square something? Times it by itself. How do I show that? Now, in exponents, so it's the square of 8 See, that's how it's done. Someone had a question. We had a discussion. Okay, so like you said the square of 8 is b squared. So, what is it when it's 3? Cubed. 1/3. But cubed. Well, you could just say 1/3. 12. That's a little too ambiguous. That's like that's when mom or dad say something and then you stay out till 1 a.m. on technicality. Let's just pattern it exactly. 1/3. So this is also a cube of 8. Okay. So what did we always say? Two things multiplied together. How was that set up anyway? Not really. For what? Yeah, addition. That's about it. Yeah. Finally got a haircut. The product of the cube or just I'm at least seeing, even if we're fuzzy on it, I'm at least seeing us try. I'm at least seeing a discussion. That's all I can ask for is for you to try your best. Okay. Because I don't see yeah, you just tell me. The sum of that one's yeah, there you go. 7 more of that. So the product of see? Yo, something that I see over and over. Someone who is 100% capable of doing it. I know they can do it. They don't think they can do it because something was tough. And as soon as they sit down with me and work one-on-one, it's almost like a toddler running down a hill.
They don't stop.
Oh, dude! And off they go. They just, and then they tumble and they crash. And someone calls CPS because there's a bruise. But just, you need to take the first steps. If you don't take the first steps, it's not going to work. If you don't ask the question, it's not going to work. How many times have you just finally sat down with someone, whether it's a teacher or not, and just because you had someone showing you one-on-one, you're like, why didn't they just say that before? Right? That individual attention matters. Please ask questions. Ask questions in class. Ask using remind. Wander in at the beginning of school for 10 minutes on Monday. Like, yo, I just didn't do any of this. I don't know what this is. I'll do a couple with you. Come down during Spartan time and just, even if you don't want to work with me, come down during Spartan time to work. Right? You can just throw on your headphones, get in the back, and work on your math. If you do that, I mean, you're not coming to my room. You can do that somewhere else. Okay? All you got to do is ask. And I love seeing kids who finally ask, and after one or two examples, they get it, and I can see that they get it. I can especially see that when I'm with them verbally one-on-one, they understand this. So maybe that's someone who needs to come in for a verbal alternate assessment. Maybe that's someone who's really going to struggle doing a quiz on their own. And they're going to think, wow, I'm just dumb, I can't do this. I shouldn't even try. When instead it's, no. You have trouble doing this on your own with a quiz. What if I asked you the questions? Could you do it then? Okay? All you have, it takes guts to ask. But I want you to ask. A number decreased by 8. A number, cool, decreased.
Mine.
8. I don't see the word then anywhere in there. So I don't switch the order. I just read it exactly as written here. Twice, we saw this before, twice. I am going to take 2 times something. That something, so 2 times the sum of. I'm about to add 2 things together. Okay? Okay, 10 was a curveball. We haven't seen that yet. Okay, what I had said over here, Sailor? Hey, cool. Was if I ever see fraction the whatever, it means multiply. Take whatever this fraction is, a over b, times the next thing. So if I see like 1/2 the money I would normally pay you, I'm going to take your salary and I'm going to divide it in half. I'm going to multiply by 0.5. 1/2 the square of b. Square means times itself. How do I show that in math?
You put a 2 above the b.
Up in exponent land. 1/2 the square of. Now I could leave it like this. I could put my parentheses on there, but just 1/2 b squared. 7 more than. I see that word then again. tells me go to the end. The product of tells me I'm going to be multiplying two things. The product of these two things, 6 and a number. Now this is a little too complicated. I can clean that up. I'll call it 6n plus 7. Okay. And then 12. Need to move my board here. Oh, don't need to. All right, I guess I just got right above. 30 increased by means I'm starting with 30. It's not at the end. I'm starting with 30 and then increasing. So 30 increased by 3 times the square of a number. Just like the square of the square of a number is going to be variable squared up in an exponent. Now remember, this entire time I had said a variable is just a variable. It can be whatever. It's just a placeholder. It doesn't have to be b. It doesn't have to be x. It doesn't have to be n. Any placeholder. I could get Greek on it with you. We could have psi squared. Still right. Any symbol that's a placeholder is a variable. Y'all, I can say 30 plus turd squared. Oh wait, I forgot my 3. We need 3 turd squareds. It's just a placeholder, right? Someone asked me the other day, so can I do that on my homework? Can I do that on a test? If you want to commit to it, if you want to commit to making the same accurate variable for each step of your problem, YOLO, have fun. Go for it, huh? Unless it's specifically telling you what to use. Okay? All right, there's one last thing. That is, boy, that's creepy in an inverted color. Okay. Writing a rule to describe the pattern, meaning I'm going to fill out a table to show what's going on. Table below shows the height above the floor of a house of cards, depending on the number of levels. So when there's 2 levels to this house of cards, we've got a 24-inch table. You see that it's plus 24, plus 24, plus 24, plus 24, because I'm always going to have 24, and then I'm going to add on top of that. Each card is 3.5 inches. That's actually accurate, by the way. Like a standard size playing card is 3.5 inches. So these guys did their research. Good job. So if I'm 2 levels above it, it's 24 inches plus 2 of these 3.5s. Then it's 3 of these 3.5s. Then it's 4 of those 4.5s. Every time I add a level, I'm adding another 3.5 inches. So what was changing every time? The number of levels. It was changing. What's another word for changing? That starts with a V? It was varying. So what should go in place of the thing that was varying?
A variable.
Yay! A variable. Okay? 3.5 times this many levels plus 24. You write out, here's the pattern. Here's what I'm doing every time. Cool, what was changing? If I can identify what was changing, I know what to replace with a variable. Now that I have that algebraic expression, I can start to use it. A group of students built another house of cards, had 10 levels. Seriously, if you've ever done the whole house of cards thing, kudos. I've never been able to get past 2 levels. Like the whole thing just, I can't even do that with dominoes. I'm not very coordinated. 3.5n plus 24 was our rule. We're going to do 10 levels. So what now?
Put 10 in place of
N was the number of levels. 3.5 times 10 plus 24. Okay, 3.5 times 10. You remember your rules for decimals? If I multiply by 10, or 100, or 1,000, I'm just moving that decimal point back and forth. So that's 35 plus 24. $35 plus 24. Okay. Oh, reading the problem explains the problem. Yep. Each card was 10 inches tall, or 4 inches tall. The height from the floor to the top was 70 inches. Okay. So now we had 70 inches to the top. Oh man, I just got to get rid of this whole thing. Sorry about that. I just went off the first sentence thinking that they would, continue using their information. They didn't. They restarted. Another house of cards, 10 levels. Each card is 4 inches tall. What does that do? Right there. Okay, the 3.5 is now 4. The n is now 10. The height from the floor to the top of the house of the cards was 70 inches. How tall would it be if they built an 11th level? I don't even need an expression for this. The height from the floor to the top of the house of cards at 10 levels is 70 inches. They added one more level. What did they just do?
Add another inch.
Not 1 inch.
Or 3.5.
4. In this case, 4. Because I didn't read the problem. Oops. I'm taking that 70 inches and just adding 4 for my next level. That's it. It's just 74 inches. We didn't even need an expression for that. A group of students built a third house of cards with n levels. Okay. Now we're getting back to the algebra. Each card was 5 inches tall. So I know I'm going to have 5 inches times however many levels, just like we did the very first time. The height of the floor to the top of the house of the cards was, 34 plus 5n inches. So how far off the ground is the table? The 34 inches. Just like that first problem. How tall would the house of cards be if they added one more level of cards?
39.
You would just tack that 5 onto that height, right? I don't know what the other n is. So I'm just going to tack that 5. So I would call this 5n plus 39, or 39 plus 5. Okay? These are the toughest of the tough, folks. Because we know how much y'all like word problems. Okay. I am going to put the assignment on Planbook and then immediately send it out along with the link for this video in your mind. So Planbook doesn't have an assignment right now. It will shortly. Does everyone have their online access at home? If you do not, you need to check out a book with me. Okay? Beyond that, Have a good weekend and don't get arrested.